I'm never coming back, am I?
You act like that's an option, Nolan. No, you're not. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Another Bourbon Show.
Well, now I'm going to have to edit that out because, Dan, clearly the way to open tonight's episode was saying top of the morning to you.
Oh. God, I hate all of you.
Hold on. Pause for applause. Thank you. Thank you. Proceed, Dan.
All right. Top of the morning to you. Lassies. I don't fucking know. Tonight, we're there. God, jeez, you sons of bitches got me all kerfluffled here. Welcome to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight, we are joined by a guest that you might be familiar with if you've been a long-time listener watcher. Nolan Sharkey, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You were our first guest, and you are also our first returning guest. We've asked everybody else to join us, and they declined, and you are the only one desperate enough to to actually come back. But welcome, Nolan.
Thank you. I don't have a lot going on, so this fills my night. I was planned full of
lawyer stuff.
So thanks for giving my
law degree
for a day and drink a little Jameson today.
Yeah. So that's a couple. We're drinking Jameson this evening. This is our special St. Patrick's Week episode, I guess you will. So tonight we're going to be drinking this shitty whiskey. It's not worthwhile to buy a bigger bottle, in my opinion, so I just got a little guy here. Nolan disagrees. He's got a handle of it. But yeah, so we're going to be drinking Jameson to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Nolan, you're a big fan of Irish whiskey, right?
Yeah, huge fan. As you guys probably see, I troll you quite regularly on your posts. You're one of the few people who interacts with you guys and gets those numbers up on your podcast by relentlessly
getting a few jabs.
By relentlessly taunting you guys about Redbreast. And, you know, Redbreast is a 10 out of 10. I mean, I'll take a 9.5 any day by doing Jameson. So you already know my rating, but have a few more of these and maybe get the 9.8.
I do want to say that you're right. Redbreast is an excellent Irish whiskey. I'm not an overly large fan of Jameson, but it's nothing against Irish whiskey as a whole. There's some really good ones out there, but I didn't want to spring for a bottle of Redbreast because it would just sit there for a really long time. So why not get something that I can spend $3 on and regret it in the morning? Like so many things in my life cost $3. So welcome back to the show. And you are Irish, right, Nolan?
Yeah, I am. My dad's actually an Irish citizen, dual citizen. He was able to retain his citizenship through a program they have in Ireland. His grandfather immigrated over here. Grew up in Brooklyn. Family joined. He was a grave digger, actually, when he came over here. Picked out the best plot before he died and got himself a nice, peaceful place in Brooklyn. One of the few peaceful places you can get in Brooklyn. So definitely truck our family history. Ireland's a big deal. Definitely have a few drinks. Have a nice feast afterwards and enjoy the day. But yeah.
So let's get started here. Steven, do you want to rate this one or do you want to rate the handle that Nolan's got?
I mean, either way, I'll rate Jameson in general. We've all seen it, right? This is kind of up there with Jack Daniels to me, where I think it is to, you know, Irish whiskey what Jack Daniels is to bourbon, really, in a lot of ways, or to Tennessee whiskey, I should say, in a lot of ways. And it's just a staple out there. Everybody knows what it looks like. I actually am a little more fond of Jameson's like overall presentation than I am Jack Daniels, although I think they're both classics. I think that Jameson, it does take some choices with the bottle that have been more influential, just like Jack Daniels, throughout Irish whiskey. But I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it all looks really nice. I think that it fits the green bottle really well. All the labels and the colors and whatnot. And I do like the little like pattern. That's probably going to be tough to pick up on our screen, but if you look really closely at like the beige, I like
Mhm.
that there's a little pattern back there. It's just a really nice looking label overall, I think. Um, yeah, so 7 out of 10. I like it a little bit better than Jack Daniels, but it's basically the same thing in terms of being like that staple classic. They don't take too many risks with it, but they
Mhm.
take a few, and I think it looks good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Anybody want to argue with Steven?
I also like their ads, by the way. Jameson consistently has really good ads. I think Irish whiskey really kills it with ads, in my opinion, actually, because Johnny Walker has like quite a few good ads.
That's
Jameson has
Scotch.
some good
That's
ads.
Scotch, yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Tullamore Dew's got some good ones every now and then too.
Either way, I think American whiskey and bourbon need to like up their game a little bit with their ads, because the TV ads anyway much better for some of these other countries.
Well, they've got a sense of humor about them, right? Like they don't take themselves quite so seriously, I think. Like, Irish whiskeys don't take themselves nearly as serious. Oh, and Scotch too. Have you guys seen some of the Lefroy commercials and advertisements?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they crack. Now I hate Lefroy. I know Nolan likes it. To me, Lefroy tastes like absolute pond water, like smoky pond water. But like they've got an advertisement for a Scotch that they're getting ready to release, and they say it's reminiscent of furniture cleaner. like that's it is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Because they don't take themselves seriously. Lefroy knows that the people who like it are going to drink it regardless of what the review is. The people who don't like it aren't going to drink it. So who gives a shit what they say the review is? Yeah, and I think that's a similar trait with Jameson and Irish whiskeys, Stephen, is that bourbon and American whiskey brands, they tend to take themselves very seriously. Well, do we want to drink some of this, Swill?
Not really.
Just because you can't fucking hold your Irish whiskey over there, Ryan.
Well, what is it? Slante or Slanche?
Cilantro.
Slancha.
Gesundheit. Smells like Elmer's glue a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Jameson. Got some smells like a little bit of rubbing alcohol mixed with pear juice. And yeah, a little bit of honey in there. I love Ryan's face.
I just taste. I just don't even. I mean,
it's destroying his connection.
I don't really.
I mean, this
is my connection bad?
No, it's great, man.
There for a second, you did freeze though, and you had just like this disgusted look on your face.
I don't think my connection froze. I think that was my actual look.
You were paralyzed momentarily.
Yeah.
No, okay, so I'm gonna stop slamming on Jameson for a little bit. I'll go back to it in a little bit. But here's the thing, folks, if you've drank before, you've drank Jameson, you know what it is. You know whether you like it or if you don't like it. So it makes it easy for us to rip on, right? Like they've been making it since 1780. God, 241 years. And they still haven't gotten it right. No, I'm just playing. no, but 241 years, right? So like they're a very successful business. They're doing something right. I know lots of people who say that Jameson is actually their favorite whiskey. It's got some positive traits for sure. I don't know what they are, but
where are you going to find a smoother bottle though for $20? You're not going to find anything smoother than Jameson for $23. I challenge you to do that. The amount of flavor and the smoothness ratio is phenomenal for the price.
I mean,
but it's easy for something.
Turkey 101.
It's really easy to make, and I'm not even being sarcastic here. It's really easy to make a smooth alcohol, a smooth whiskey when it's 80 proof. Okay, so that's one thing I'll say. I do think at $20 Jack Daniels is probably just as smooth. Maybe not just as smooth. But seriously, I'm gonna stop ripping on it because it is flavorful. It's $23. It does have some really, really neat flavors that you certainly don't get from bourbon, right? Like it's unusual to get a pear flavor from an American whiskey. You just don't find that very often. And I do get a lot of pear from Jameson.
I was gonna say I get like a little bit of pear is a good one. I think I get a little bit of like apple juice too, specifically like juicy juice. Apple juice, which I haven't had in a long time. I had to look it up on my phone just now because I was like, what was the juice box that had like Arthur characters on it and stuff? Because like for some reason it's specifically that because it's like apple juice that's been like in a hot truck in cardboard for or like whatever that plastic is for a long time.
Surrounded by sweaty Italians loading and offloading the truck.
Yeah, something like that. It's something about like it's almost like an aged apple juice, pear juice, something like that. That really comes across to me, mixed with like I said before, there's a slight Elmer's glue smell to it, and those are the two things that I really pick up when I smell and drink it.
I'm from the school of people who pick up a glass and smell it. What the fuck are you doing? It doesn't smell good. Quit lying to yourself. Quit lying to people around you. It smells like shit. Drink it and tell me. That's just my opinion. I know there's a lot of people out there like bittersweet 2-year aged apple juice or something like that.
Yeah, I think we do a good job here. We were just talking about that like last episode as well. I think we do a good job here of not being pretentious with it, but trying to tell people what it smells like if they don't have the opportunity to get a bottle or something. But we were just covering Wild Turkey 101 and Fighting Cock Blind. And I think that one of the things we said about it is that they both had a great nose to them because there's certain things that still smell good even when they're in like alcohol. Like there's you might not like milk, but when milk is spoiled, you know what I mean? I think there's something to that where it's like, yeah, maybe nothing smells as good as like fresh baked cookies or something in the bourbon world, but there's still somewhere you're just like, this is going to be a rough one, isn't it?
Well, and I want to throw out there that so I'm on this other podcast and I drink bourbon while I'm on that podcast too, and that's not bourbon centric whatsoever. But I was drinking from one of my Glencairn glasses, and the guy who was the guest on that episode, he goes, "So what's the deal with one of those glasses? Does it make it taste better?" And I said, "No, it doesn't actually make it taste better, but it does make like you pick up on the scents a lot more." And even he said, "Well, there's such a strong connection between smell and taste." So that's the only reason I bring up what the nose is because the connection between scent and taste, like, have you ever just watch it sometime? You can Google it on like put it on like look it up on YouTube. Have somebody put a blindfold on and just watch it on YouTube and then plug their nose and have them taste something and have them try to figure out what it is they're eating. They never get it right. Never, ever, ever. Because that connection between the olfactory of the nose and the taste buds is so intertwined that, yes, that's the reason it matters to talk about the nose, you dumb son of a bitch. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're talking to me. I clearly thought this was directed at Steven.
No, I'm glad that's how you figured out who I was talking to.
Everyone else was laughing but me. Okay. No, I'm just a person. I have a horrible sense of nose. Had my nose broken maybe a few times, sinus issues.
Yeah.
It smells all like fucking alcohol to me.
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say.
And I mean,
I'm down with
visually,
taste.
there's a visual component of taste too, right? Like presentation matters and everything. That's why we give the people the label reviews, okay? If this is important shit that we're providing for the public.
It's a service is what it is.
And by the way, this little guy back here, this episode, this is me. This is, well, one, it's my collection. I'm showing off a little bit.
Is that Mellow Corn?
Yeah, it's Mellow Corn. You see that beautiful label?
But two, this is my olive branch because all these fucking psychos in the Mellow Corn community threatened my family the past couple of weeks, right? So I'll put it back there for a couple episodes, all right? Calm down.
There's got to be a story. Did I miss this story? Is this a prior podcast?
So it started on the Mellow Corn episode itself,
Okay.
and then it's carried on the last, I don't know, every episode since then, I think. Me and Ryan just dunking on Steven because he gave Mellow Corn the label a bad rating.
This is pure survival right here. That's what this is.
Don't break my windows.
It almost looks like edited into the shot.
It really does.
It doesn't even look real.
Like even the shadow looks pixelated. like Photoshop the shadow in too.
I wouldn't Photoshop a bottle here of Mellow Corn live. You kidding me? I should have done that. I could have done that. I should have done that. But what if I took a picture of this background, but just with Mellow Corn in it, and then like I just faded it out right now to what it actually is without Mellow Corn?
I am curious when you guys got a sponsor on the podcast. Congratulations on that, by the way. I see you guys have a sponsor, the Salvation Army. United Way? Is it? I'm very curious as they're started to dress homeless people in suits around here. You know, congrats on the sponsorship here, guys. Ryan, can you talk a little bit about your job interview coming up?
Yeah, it should be good. I'm going for a job at AB, janitor. Got to start at the bottom like you did, and then work my way up to whatever you're doing. Wearing shitty hats. Whatever you do. I mean, you called me out on Facebook. One of the few comments we had saying I looked homeless.
Yeah,
I
mean, he's not wrong.
Band T-shirt. No, so I was like, all right, fuck this guy. I'll wear a suit, and I'm wearing the pants too. I'm doing the whole thing. I'm not fucking around.
I would love if you just split your inseam, but when you brought your knee up, if it just ripped,
or tore your hamstring, just the hubris of it.
I was actually hoping by coming back on this podcast, I would submit myself as the potential third member of the group as Ryan slowly makes his exit. When shows kind of do that. I was hoping maybe I become more of a group. I think I have a better sense of alcohol, beer, whiskey, bourbon. I feel like I'm a little more well-rounded than Ryan. He's more of a monocle kind of guy.
I got to be honest. There's one thing that Ryan has that's going to be hard to beat if we ever wanted to kick Ryan out. He's a distributor. That's it. It's not that we like Ryan. It's not that he doesn't add anything to the show, but he works for a distributor, so he's got insight that is hard to get, right? So
insight. We're gonna find it one of these days.
Yeah.
At some point, it's gonna pay off, and he's gonna get us a bottle for free or something. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna make us millions. That's
never gonna happen.
My words. Nolan's a lawyer. He can write up some contracts. We'll figure it out.
I mean, I'm sort of a lawyer. I went to SIU. I think that counts. Go Dogs.
Hey, but here's one thing that's true. Your wife is a lawyer, and so maybe she can help us out. Like, she's a legit lawyer too. So
yeah, she is. She probably doesn't want her name associated with this podcast. So
I'm a little shocked she wants her name associated with you.
A lot of convincing to get her to go down to the Social Security office and get a new last name.
Most of us only went to one SIU, but I mean, Nolan just thought he would check out both of them, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm a proud product of the SIU system.
So which location did you like better?
Oh man, this is pretty easily on one side SIUE.
Yeah.
But I'm on a serious side. I'll keep it serious. SIUE has now surpassed, I believe, SIU in enrollment. Fact check me on that one for undergrad enrollment. And it's no shock.
You're correct. You're correct.
SIU is unfortunately on tough times. Carbondale with just the jobs, the city is the strip down there used to be, I think, something like 28 bars. It's now like 6. They literally have a bar down there that does what they call $1 Bud Light nights, and they just swap out the keg with Keystone instead. Like, it's just limping along down there. SIUE is a lot more life, a lot more fun. Definitely encourage it. they're holding on to their graduate programs down at Carbondale, probably for good reason. It's the only way to trick people into coming down there. So you go down there. Probably going to piss off a lot of people with that statement, but
it's true.
It's true. Like,
I mean,
don't they borrow money from us too off the budget, even though they get 2/3 of the budget every year, something like that?
They had to take out a big loan. They had to take out a huge loan from Edwardsville. Yeah, I mean, Carbondale slipped from they were an R1 school at one point, and now they're like R3, if that. Like, they are, like, research wise, they've just fallen across the board for everything. So fuck you, Carbondale. That's what we're trying to say.
I had a good time there.
Carbondale, you are the Jameson of college systems. That's
Wow.
Wow. They definitely need to get their shit together. I honestly don't have a solution for them. I could sit here and talk shit on them all day, but it's like, hey, if you're gonna talk shit, come with a solution.
Yeah.
There's no solution. I don't know. I know you guys got a lot of work down there.
That's got to be rough. I mean, it's always weird whenever there's a town that's basically like it's a college town and it's made important because of that university, really. So I've not spent a ton of time in Carbondale, but I imagine like most of the people in that town work at the university in some capacity, or at least a lot of them do, right? So
yeah,
what does that do to a community whenever, the university is kind of on the downward spiral,
Yeah, there's a lot of good people down there. A lot of people really care a lot about the school. You really see it. There's a lot of people trying to do their best to be able to prop it up, but when you have just tanking enrollment, no joke, the law school is right next to boarded up dorm buildings. Like, go on a college campus and tell me boarded up buildings. Like, that's SIU currently, because they don't have need for those buildings. No reason to keep utilities running on it. So, yeah, it's a sad condition. Very happy people, very good people. They try their best. But yeah, they're in a tough condition. I hope the best for SIU. But
I think we all do. I think we all do, if we're going to be honest here. Like, nobody wants to see Carbondale, the university or the town, not succeed. But, yeah.
It also doesn't help it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's hard to get to.
That's a lot of college towns.
It's not by any... I mean, it's off the beaten path. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know how Western Illinois afloat. Jesus. You ever go there?
Again,
unfortunately,
miserable. fucking dirt roads. No one's wearing shoes. Terrible place.
It's like Green Bay, right?
Oh yeah.
Do people only wear shoes in whatever town you currently live in, Ryan? Is that how this works? You're always like, people don't have shoes, and your kids running around in the streets.
Hey, I've got some great news I want to share. This is like, I'm super excited about this. My glass is gone. No more Jameson.
So let's send you some.
Let's quickly rate it so I can start drinking good stuff, and you can keep drinking trash if you want to.
There's no way any of that went in the glass.
No. Goes down smooth, guys.
Let the guest begin. Nolan, let's hear your 9.5.
Guys, it's like I said earlier, you're not going to get a better bang for your buck for smoothness, a smoothness ratio, the price ratio. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff out there. There's Jack, there's Gem, Wild Turkey, but let's be honest, it has a little more bite. If you're really trying to get into the whiskey world, you got to have, this really is the training wheels. I think, like, everybody starts with the whiskey. Everybody learns from a whiskey. Me, I personally like riding around on my training wheels, so fuck the rest of you guys. Some of us never grew up. So, no, Jameson, it's phenomenal. Price to ratio, I'm going to give it a 9.5. But regular rating, let's be honest, there's very few whiskeys out there that will get a 9. So I will give this a 8, a solid 8.
All right,
whatever.
Jesus, dude.
I'll just say it's fitting that you're wearing a AAA baseball team set because you're not ready for the big leagues, all right? This is now. I'm probably going to give it a more favorable review than these two are, but I still think that it's it just doesn't meet the typical flavor profile that I like that makes us all gravitate towards bourbon more. And so I'm going to be giving this, I think, a 4.2.
That's rough.
So, and the reason why I give it a 4.2 is just because I'm putting it below just your average Jim Beam White Label, just the average bourbon you pull off the shelf. It still falls below that to me, but that's still pretty high. That's pretty close to an average bourbon. So to me, that's high praise because I don't like, as Ryan would say, as Nick Cage would say, that's high praise. And I think that it's pretty close in that way to just your average whiskey, and it's one of the highest Irish whiskeys I would rate. So without having had Redbreast before, so
Yeah.
4.2 for me.
Okay. Why don't I go next, and then Ryan, you can close this one up for us, okay?
All right.
Okay. So, so yeah, again, our rating scale is 0. Technically, it's 0 to 10, and Jim Beam White Label is a 5.0. Everything is based off of what we're drinking compared to Jim Beam White Label in that 5.0. And I actually 100% completely agree with Steven. I'm just going to give it a 4.1. That's because that's what was in my head. But for the exact reasons that Steven mentioned, that does not mean that Jameson is not good. It's just that to me, I prefer Jim Beam White Label a little bit, 0.9% over Jameson. I like the vanilla, the caramels that you get from a bourbon that you don't get from a Jameson. Jameson, like there are nights to drink Jameson. They're just really super few and far between for me personally, because it, again, like Steven said, it doesn't fit the flavor profile that I particularly prefer. There are some scotches out there that do. There's actually, again, Redbreast, like you said, Nolan. I like Redbreast a lot, but Redbreast is far superior to Jameson in every way except for price tag, in my opinion. So yeah, so there you go. I give it a 4.1, and that's my rationale. I like the flavor profile from that brand new, never before used charred oak barrel. I like what that does to whiskey. To you, Ryan.
I was going to totally rag on this because anytime I'm out drinking and then we do a shot of Jameson, someone's like, all right, let's do a shot of Jameson. I'm just like, God damn it, because I just associate it with throwing up. And usually I'll do it like a pickle juice chaser, a pickleback, which is actually a good shot because you do a shot of Jameson and then you do the pickle juice and then you can't taste the Jameson. And that's usually pretty good too. But this particular tastes like absolutely nothing to me. I get nothing out of it. It doesn't bite. There's no bite.
Oh boy, Ryan has COVID again, you guys.
COVID. It's so easy to drink. I don't know why I despise doing shots of it when I'm out. I'm going to rate it evenly with Jim Beam, just a 5.0. It just is what it is. If it's not good, it's not bad. It's right in the middle. It kind of shocked me how much I didn't care for it today. Usually I get grossed out by it, but that just didn't happen. So good on Jameson. I mean, it was a whole 2 points higher than I was when I was going into this. All day I was like, oh, I got to drink Jameson. I got to drink Jameson. Just hating it. I have a headache right now. I've had a headache all day. Sure, that's part of it, but it's not that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad. And I'll gladly do a shot of it straight next time I'm with Nolan.
That is actually one thing I do want to address here while we're on the topic is, I'm not going to lie to you, shooting Jameson isn't like sipping Jameson. There is a different taste there, and it's going to punch you in the face a little bit harder. So when you say you're about to throw up after a shot of Jameson, you're no longer on training wheels. Jameson is one of the harder shooters.
Yeah, I mean, this is easy to drink. I mean, you're probably right though. If I were to do the shot,
It's do a shot, you're gonna hate it just as
Be
much as you
thrown up,
usually
right?
do. I don't get the science behind it. I can sip Jameson all night. I do a shot of Jameson, and I'm just like, whew, all right, slow up a little bit. Let's pull those reins back.
Hey, name
It's
off.
a punch in the face.
Name off. Do
Yeah.
you still have some of the Jameson in your glass?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do me a favor. Go put like just drop an ice cube in it, and then take a sip of it.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm a strong believer in the ice cube with that was one of the things I had to adjust when I started switching to bourbon is bourbon I like drinking neat. I don't like it actually on ice. I think if you guys remember when I was on this podcast first, what were you sipping on? Early times. I had ice in it and I was having it before the show. I think I told you guys I cheated and I was having it the night before. I did not like it. You guys, let's try it neat. You know what? I buy that bottle now and I sip on it neat all the time. Bourbon I think is a lot better neat. And Irish, 1 or 2 cubes is probably the way you want to go in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to know how how it changes things for you. Name off.
Oh, I'm more like peppery. I feel like a little spicier. It definitely kicks you more.
Oh,
It's
does it?
definitely more of a heat. Yeah, it's definitely stronger on the palate than just straight, which is pretty interesting.
How would
So
you?
it's only 40. It's only 40%. I like it more straight for sure.
Oh,
This
do you?
isn't very good. Yeah.
Then pull the ice cube out.
I mean, I got another one right here.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna drink the second one, but I might.
See, we're turning people into believers here. That's what I'm about. Well, guys, I did promise to come on here and degrade myself, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I listeners, you're not gonna for this. You're gonna want to check out the video for the next couple things. You're gonna want to check out the video.
Is your wife watching you? You just looked over to the
Have her
left
come
a
help
few
you.
times, Nolan.
So for the listeners right now, Nolan has a ball gag in his mouth. And why don't you go ahead and stand up? Nolan, why don't you go ahead and stand up too? I made him. I told him he had to dress like a leprechaun, and in standard Irish fashion, instead of dressing like a leprechaun, it looks like he's fucking a leprechaun with a ball gag in his mouth.
It's too bad he doesn't have the assless chaps.
We don't know that he doesn't.
Chaps.
Nolan, you know how I said your lighting looked good earlier? Whenever you stand up with a ball gag in your mouth on top of a leprechaun, it really makes you look creepier.
Something about the lighting.
These ball gags are hard to get out of your mouth. It's almost like they don't want you to take it out.
Well, you're supposed to be bound right now, so.
Another brother show. Another brother show.
Oh, fuck! I got a headache.
Hey, you're hungover, dude.
No, I'm not actually.
You have Lyme disease. You have fucking Lyme disease, dude?
I hope so.
What do you mean you hope you have Lyme disease?
What would you rather have, Steven? Lyme disease or ALS?
Probably Lyme disease.
Bad, right?
What would you
Pretty
pick?
good.
I'd pick Lyme disease 100% of the time.
Yeah. You know what Jesse asked me the other day? Jesse the other day goes, would you rather be in prison for life or have no hands cut off at the wrist?
I think no hands.
Prison.
It's a funny answer either way.
So
I mean, they got like bionic hands now, you know?
yeah, but that goes against the principles of the question.
Other question. Yeah.